What's up, Heather James?
Not much. How are you?
Chilling. My dog's chasing her tail. Can you see that?
I saw the back end of it. Yeah. I just saw some legs in the air going crazy.
Shit cracks me up.
What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Nothing.
Oh,
Barry's in Canada, actually, of all places.
oh,
And I'm in Charleston, so I'm gonna go to a restaurant and be a loser at a bar.
that's okay.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't
I'm
have to be a
perfectly fine.
loser.
All right, I'll just be alone. Alone at a bar. Have
See,
a
it sounds much
fantastic
better than a
conversation.
loser at a bar.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to a bar, go to a restaurant that I know the bartender's at, so I can at least have a
Oh, it's like
conversation.
cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Norm. Anyway, what do you see? Do
Um,
you see text from
what
Grant?
in the chat? Oh, no, I don't see it in the demander. I don't know if you can hear me.
Wait, no, forget Amanda. Do you see
Uh,
the in chat? Do you see it under Grant's name?
oh, yeah,
Oh,
I do.
what about the message from me?
It's under Blue's name.
Will you try and DM me? Hmm. What about do the same thing for Grant?
Okay, I got your DM. I just messaged Grant. Yes. I think it's working fine.
What's up, David? How's it going, Tom? Nice to see you guys.
Hey guys.
Howdy. Happy tryptophan intoxication weekend.
Okay. Well, we are a lively bunch today. So rather than making the two of you anyway drop, or three of you, I see Linda's with us as well. Why don't you guys? Either of you have a question? You guys, neither of you actually show up regularly, so I feel like you're here because you have a specific question, but that may
I
not
just
be
wanted to
accurate.
share some love. We used ConvertKit for the first time in the last event, and worked like a charm, except for the part that Tom screwed up. But other than that, worked like a charm. Danella and her team used it for the first time, integrated in. And I know how hard you worked on it. So I just wanted to share some love back to you, Blue. It
Awesome.
worked out really well. I will tell everyone, don't change
Sweet.
the name of your Obvio room midway through a campaign. It's really stupid.
Oh, did you change the name of the event?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 4 days
Yeah, that'll come.
before. And then we thought we'd erased it all and reprogrammed it all and caused just tons of chaos. 100% self-inflicted, but everything
Yeah.
else worked like a charm. And it was great to see that it worked so smooth. And the only reason I popped in, I was literally working on some stuff and I saw the warning of the meeting and I wanted to pass some love to you guys because I'm sure you get enough grief over any of the programming things. So thanks for the work on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I will tell you, hey, what event was it that you guys ran?
It was the Strategic Alliance
was
Summit.
it under your account or under
Danella's.
Okay, give me 1 second. What?
I think it showed up as one event. No, it showed up as one event. We did a 2-day and then a 3-day back to back. No direct offer, all fulfillment, all breakouts.
Yeah, how does Danella spell her name?
Dannella.
Yeah,
I think it's
okay, cool.
2 N's.
So organizations, and was this under Encore Elite, Icon Maker?
Encore Elite,
Lazy
it should be.
Okay, and was this Visible Virtual Edition?
No, Strategic Alliance Summit.
November 23, got it. Let me see. Sorry, I'm kind of curious. Do you know what your attendance numbers were like?
Let's see, 320 tickets, 67% check-in, averaging 104 people at any one time. Stayed like a rock over the main event was like that attendance wise. We're very, very pleased. Did 1,552 joint ventures in 3 days.
Sweet. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking for something.
I think we did about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 breakouts, 3 days. We did try something new that we weren't set up to do with ConvertKit, which was, remember Barry talked about surveys at check-in as a strategy on a debrief. We created a survey sheet and had them all completed on day one based on the category of business and the size of business. And then we had the team manually rename everyone with an alphanumeric combination. And we did breakouts based on business type and business size, different times on day 2. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really freaking cool. And next time we'll do it with tags in advance, but it was sort of a field call on the fly. And the only downside was they had to take one of their VAs and literally manually change everyone's name in the system, but we knew what to change it. And then when we sorted for breakouts, it was a dream.
Nice.
Wanted to do that for 3 years and never had the guts to try it. And so then Ella and her team pulled it off, which was great.
Very cool. All right, this is taking longer than I wanted it to.
One quirky thing though, of people that had the right link in ConvertKit, when we sent the embedded link out, many of them it showed up hollow, like missing, like literally nothing on the screen. But it was almost always ones that went to promotions or spam. So I just assumed it was a filtering system on Gmail's end or.
Yeah, that sounds like it was either a filtering thing on Gmail's end or or possibly an error on ConvertKit in terms of merging the doc. Did you guys look to see if their full link was actually in? If their full link was actually in what's it called? In ConvertKit?
ConvertKit, yeah.
And it was?
Yep.
And if you tried to copy and paste the link from ConvertKit into a browser, did the same thing still happen?
No, that worked fine. Just
So
the
then
email showed up with nothing embedded.
That's
like sometimes, mostly it showed up, but sometimes it didn't.
Yeah. What days was this event? Was this event this past weekend?
No, it was the exact dates. It was
10, 11, 12? 8, 9, 10?
March,
7, 8, 9?
November,
1, 2, 3?
6th, 7th, and then 8th, 9th, 10th. The main event was 8, 9, 10, and the pre-event 2-day event was 6, 7. Because I think she ran both these. Plat VIP. If you see Plat VIP, that's the 2-day advance event. I think she set up as just a separate room in the system.
Got it. So this isn't live and it's not public for everyone because for the exact reason that you're kind of seeing, which is it's slow and we're working on speeding it up. But this is the new stats engine that is about to be added into the platform. So where it gets really interesting. What time basically was your event?
8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, or 11 to 8.
Cool. Okay.
Day one went. There was an extra session 3 hours later total.
Yeah. So what this basically does is it allows you to kind of zoom in on a specific time frame and see what stats look like. How many people were online, how many people joined the meeting at specific times, and then how many people left at specific times. The join and left are interesting because they're affected by breakouts. So when you run,
okay, we skewed that good.
Yeah. So here's basically what your attendance should have. This is what your numbers should basically have been from 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe, till 8 p.m. Pacific. So 99, like max in Zoom was like 99. Average session length 23 minutes, 1,400 sessions. This is the one where it gets a little bit wonky because when you would open up breakouts and somebody would go into breakouts and then they'd come back, which you probably did around right here and then right here and then again right here and right here. All of these like spikes in Zooms are likely going to be related to breakout times. So anyway, it's
but normally
nice
like in a normal 3-day we wouldn't have that many, so that it's not going to skew as much, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll be able to see like some of your basic stats, but then there's about to be another button that shows up, and that what that additional button is going to do is it's going to allow you to do actions on people who were present during the time window that you specify. So this is where this gets interesting, Tom. What you're going to be able to do is you can, let's say, your offer for your event. Let's say this, I don't know if your event had an offer, but let's just say it did. And the offer took place on day 2 between 6 and 7 p.m. So you'll be able to go into the stats engine, narrow down your data, your actual graph time to be between 6 and 7 p.m. And it'll show you a graph of who was online or how many people were online during that time. You're then going to be able to take an action that is like tag. In your case, because you're using ConvertKit, one of the options will be to tag them in ConvertKit. So you'll be able to tag everybody who attended and was present for some period of time during that window.
Are you kidding me?
No. And then you'll be able to customize your follow-up sequence afterwards to be like, let's have this sequence go to people who attended, but this sequence go to people who didn't attend. So yeah.
Well,
It's
that's going to make
awesome.
Danelle and her team, especially because we do that manually. We have them do that manually and figure it all out with screenshots and literally sourcing up every person, which is fine when you've got 100 or 200 people, but completely not what we're planning the next one.
Exactly.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really, really neat. So, yeah, that will probably be, I mean, we're hoping to have that live. It's technically on production, but it's hidden. So we're hoping to have that live on production within the next week or so. It's really, really close.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yep. You bet. All right. So that was just some randomness. Heather, do we have any questions today?
We had one that was in from before the meeting started from Jeff. He said, I thought that Obvio Zoom was set up as a mute all participants upon entry. I was surprised when someone was unable to unmute for their recent event. Is this indeed a default setting via Obvio?
Well, say the first part again. I just missed it.
He said, I
Like,
thought
what's
that
the setting he's
Obvio's
talking about? Yeah.
mute all participants upon entry. And then he was surprised when someone was unable to unmute his recent event.
Yeah, I believe mute on entry is a default, but the thing that is not a default that you can't actually set as a default is the ability for them to unmute themselves. So Jeff or whoever, what you have to do when you load up a meeting is you have to go into the little security panel, and that's the easiest way to do it. And just basically say, hey, let's, uncheck that capability. So like in Zoom, once you're in the meeting, if you just click there, you'll see a little security panel if you're the host, and you'll have something that says allow all participants to, and then there's like 8 things that you can allow them to do by default: share screen, chat, rename themselves, unmute themselves, start video, share notes, collaborate with Zoom apps, and set meeting timers. And what we do for in our studio, our default settings, we turn everything off except for chat and start video. Everything else we turn off. But then from there, if you have smaller gatherings and you're okay with letting people unmute themselves, you can let them. If you want to use Zoom's notes features, you can. We just generally don't. There's also another thing that that shows up if you're the host, which I'm not in this meeting, which is request record access or something along those lines. And that can be a real pain in the butt. So we turn that off as well. So basically the only things we leave on are the ability for them to start their video and the ability for them to chat.
And that was all the questions that we had that were actually in the system.
Awesome. Well, this has been a great call, guys. 17 minutes is a new record for Obvio. Thanks for showing up. We'll talk to you all next week. Bye-bye for now. David, go ahead. Just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello. I have some absolute basic questions.
The simpler, the better, honestly, because
okay.
I'm in a mood today, apparently.
All right. That's good. So stepping back in, this will be my first time ever using Obvio. I'm cool. Developing a business that's going to involve a challenge to live event to, program, delivery, right, fulfillment. So what I need to know is several questions. One is, do I need to have a separate Obvio account or Obvio template for each of those steps along the way? Or can I construct within my Obvio account multiple templates, one for the challenge, one for the live event, and one that will be a program delivery framework?
So let's actually start with, let's start with this as a starting point. So when you first log into Obvio, you're going to see organizations, and then you're probably going to see an organization that says David Garrett's organization. Okay. You have the ability to have up to 3 organizations, but organizations are just ways to categorize events. And events are really the thing that you create that your attendees join.
Right.
So for us here at Sage, because we're a third party, meaning we produce events for other people, I have a bunch of organizations. We create a different one for every single client that we have. And then we put that client's events inside that organization. So I'm going to go ahead and click on your organization. And inside of your organization, you currently don't have any events. But what you do is you just create a new event, type in all the details, and then you'll get a little tab or a little panel that gives you the name of that event. And when you go into it, you'll be able to select the template and so on and so forth. You're probably going to want to have a different event within the organization for the challenge, for the 3-day, and for the fulfillment program. Now, what a lot of people will do is they'll pick a template that they really like, that they want to use for all 3 events, because there's 5 templates in Obvio. There's about to be a 6th within the next couple of weeks or so. But essentially, what a lot of them will do is they will design the template for their business, and then they'll customize it briefly for, like, make minor tweaks and customizations for the challenge, and then they'll duplicate the challenge template and make minor tweaks and changes to make it for the event, and then they'll duplicate that and make minor tweaks and changes. So you don't have to redo all the work every single time you have an event. You can make minor changes rather than starting from scratch.
Right. And then you've got some consistency in your branding and your look and feel and functionality,
exactly.
etc.
And you can have, there's no limit to the number of events that you can have within an organization. Okay. You can have 1,000 events. It doesn't really matter.
So if it's like an ABC, challenge to live event to fulfillment, you can do multiple iterations of the challenge and have those as separate events. You can do multiple iterations of the live event, etc.
Yep. Exactly. But you may, for the thing that you're going into, right, the fulfillment event, for that, you may create, like in our case, in the Sage, like I'll use Sage as an example. Inside of our Sage, inside the Sage organization, there's a different event for each TVE that we've done, and a different event for each challenge that we've done, and a different event for each webinar that we've done. But there's only one event for Leap, because everybody gets added to that same event. So
okay, so do the individual recordings of Leap modules and Q&A calls, etc., where do they, what framework do they inhabit? Are they under the Leap program event, and that's just content under that event?
So recordings wind up in your Zoom areas under the event that you've done them in. Generally speaking, though, most of our clients don't use Obvio to distribute recordings of their event or of their fulfillment programs, because it's not really designed to do that. You can, right? You could download your Zoom recordings from Obvio. You could trim them up, right? So this is the exact segment that I taught, and with my Q&A or whatever. And then you could upload it to a service like, I'm going to use as an example, YouTube Unlisted, right? So you don't want other people to be able to see it, but you don't want to pay, maybe you don't want to pay for Wistia or Vimeo or something along those lines. So you make it, you use YouTube because it's free, you make it unlisted, and then you can take the link from YouTube and embed it into a blog. Or we've had some clients take the feature pages that we have, like the speaker pages, the speaker or sponsor pages, and actually, instead of using them as a sponsor page, use them as a recordings page. And for each recording, you click add sponsor, give it a title, and the title is the name of your recording. And then instead of in the area where you would normally put a bio for your sponsor, you just click the add insert media and you add the video to that point. So it's kind of it's a little hacky, I guess, because it's not how the system was intended to be used, but it can work. You're muted.
Okay, so what works best? Is it best to have a separate URL and a separate website platform for your fulfillment? Like,
I think so.
Just to not
so.
overpopulate and overcomplicate your.
I mean, that's what we do, right? We use Searchy for our membership hub, right, where all of our recordings and content lies for Leap members to go and download or watch their recordings. But when it comes time to actually access the live meetings, they go through an Obvio dashboard. So yeah, I think that is the better route personally.
Okay, so Obvio is like a transit hub for content that's being generated that's ultimately going to end up for your fulfillment on its own, have its own residence. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, correct. You got it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you have you've got now 5 templates, and then there's going to be a 6th. Have you gotten any feedback as to functionally which has been better for users in terms of navigation, finding what they need? I presume all the features of Obvio are present and available in all the templates. Is that correct?
For the most part, yes. There are some things that are not currently present in some of the templates. The biggest thing that's not present in 2 of the templates is the agenda feature that exists in the sidebar of Classic, Cards, and the Lefty template. And what the agenda feature does is it allows you to create a fairly simple agenda. It's not a robust tool, but it allows you to create a simple agenda that gives your attendees visibility into what your schedule looks like. And the cool thing about that particular agenda is when attendees view it, they view it in their time zone. But when you edit it, you see it in yours. So Cards, Classic, and Lefty all have that same agenda feature. But the template called Panels and the template called Nifty 50 do not have that agenda feature built in. We will probably change that early in the new year, because the new template that we're building has a agenda feature that will work with those 2 templates, but we have to finish this first template first, and then we'll port it over. That's the major feature difference between Nifty 50 and Panels and Cards, Classic, and Lefty. That's really it. Other than that, functionally, like functionality wise, they're very much the same. It's just a matter of what's your visual preference. Sometimes people ask, when they ask the question that you're asking, they'll ask something like, which one converts better? And I'll tell you that our experience is that they all convert very well. And we design them with conversion in mind, right? So there isn't a bad template from a conversion perspective. I'm on a call. Just give me a couple of minutes. You go ask somebody else for that. So that is that's the major differences. What I'll tell you though, I prefer, like for a challenge or a webinar, if I'm doing essentially, if I'm doing a one-off event or let me just say this, a free event. If I'm doing a free event, which is usually a challenge, a webinar, maybe a summit, I tend to lean towards the simpler dashboard. And for me, my go-to when I'm doing a one-off event, like a smaller event, like a challenge or a webinar, is Nifty 50. I personally like that a lot for challenges, and I'll tell you why. If I can get logged into it, give me a second. So the thing that I really like about it is when you first load up Nifty 50, you get everything on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side with your primary buttons, right? Register for the event, join the classroom, join the Facebook group, whatever. This is a little bit off because we've been using this for some testing. But then on the right-hand side, you've got your things that are immediately visible. It's really clear to people when this page loads that there's more over here, right? Like that I can just scroll down. Whereas on some of the other templates, you actually have to scroll down to see the additional content. And especially and you can kind of see it here, we have recordings in blog posts inside of our particular layout for Nifty 50 for OfferCamp here. So I really like that because when this page loads after day one, this is what it looks like, right? Welcome to OfferCamp day one. The recording's right there. It's clear that it's there. It's nice and easy to find. And it's fairly simple to use. It also happens to be the template that if you're going to put a lot of stuff on it, gets cluttery very quickly. So that's why I think it works really, really well for smaller, shorter free events, especially webinars and challenges. Now, with that being said, I've also used it for a 3-day live event. And as long as you understand the limitations, it's perfectly fine. So there you go. And then my current favorite actually for 3-day live events is I like the Lefty template a lot. I think it's a little bit more modern than the classic template. They have all the same features essentially, but it allows, from a design perspective, I personally like the Lefty template quite a lot. I'm really excited about the new template that we have coming out, which is called Town Hall. And like I said, it should be, I'm hoping to have that out the next couple of weeks. We'll call that an Obvio Christmas present if we can make it work. But it's a new modern design that is based on a lot of, it has its roots in politics, actually, which is why it's called Town Hall. So we took a look at a lot of campaign sites from this year that have been set up for the 2024 cycle, and took a lot of, then we took a look at several other prominent figures in politics and looked at their websites and just kind of amalgamated some of those ideas into something that we thought could work really well in a dashboard and have some of the same structural look and feel. The idea behind Town Hall, behind the Town Hall template, is that it can, of course, it's designed to be used as a Town Hall get together or a Town Hall gathering, which is no different than a live event. So I'm personally really excited about Town Hall as a template. I think it's going to look really cool.
And Blue, Amy did ask in chat. So if you do a template update, for instance, adding the agendas into the ones that don't have it, will that automatically update current events that have that template, or would they have to start a new event to get those updates?
It will add the feature to existing events that are using the template that will then have to be configured. So the way it'll work, in all likelihood, is you'll have the option to add an agenda, and that option will appear on your existing templates. So the agenda itself won't magically write itself because we won't know what your agenda is. So you'd have to do that, but you'd be able to use it on existing templates or on existing pages that are using that template.
And then Stacy also threw in the chat, she wanted to know if the offer camp was still available for people to look and learn.
I mean, technically, if you signed up for it in the past, it's still sitting there. But offer camp is not something that we're doing this year. But Amy, aren't you in Leap? I feel like you're in Leap, right? You're in Leap, yeah. So as a Leap member, you should have access to the recordings of that. Just email leap@poweredbysage.com to find out where it is.
I think that
Amy,
was Stacy who asked that question.
Okay, got it.
Yep, that was someone else.
Got it. Stacy, so there you go. That's the answer.
Is Rosie being a bother?
Honestly, I think Rosie needs to pee.
You should take her outside
really,
so she doesn't have to like be embarrassed.
Yeah, well,
oh, don't worry, it's a self-correcting phenomenon. If he doesn't do it soon enough, it'll self-correct.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I've seen some of that carpet.
All right, next question, if there are any.
There's none on our end, so if anyone's in here who has a question, this is your opportunity.
Yeah, Diane,
go ahead, Diana.
You can unmute yourself.
I just put a question in the chat, like, can you make an event for me for December 7th at 5 called Successful Family Reunions for Adoptees? I know this is an awesome tool, and I've been overwhelmed with so many things. I haven't gotten in there, and I was like, oh, it probably would take you 30 seconds to do that, and then I can go in and fiddle with it.
Okay, so Diana, do you have an organization yet? Do you know?
I'm going to say no. I don't think so. I have not.
Okay, so it also looks to me like it's possible that you haven't logged into your account yet.
Very possible.
So I'm gonna say, listen, I'm happy to I'm happy to support, but you're going to need to log into the platform first. And even though you're on a Leap plan, when you first set up your account, it is going to ask you to add a credit card to the account, which is just for ancillary purposes, like if you decide to use the text messaging feature as an example, or some of the other things that that you can do for larger events, which probably won't apply to you. But you do have to do that before I can do anything in your account. If you know, if you go and do that now, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, I'll go fiddle with that, and then you continue on, and I'll if I get it done, I'll come back.
Okay,
Thanks.
sounds good. And Diana, I'll let's see, can I I'll just say that the account is under your .edu email address. I don't know if you have multiple email addresses.
I do. Is it my dot Chemeketa.edu?
I just DM'd it to you.
Okay. Hopefully
So
I know
if
my password.
Well, and honestly, if you don't, it doesn't matter. If you go to app.obv.io, which I also just DM'd you.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't know your password, there's a little button that says forgot my password. And as long as you have access to your email, then it'll send you an email and I can go through creating an event for you.
Thank you, Blue. I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see if we can extend this call slightly and have somebody else ask a question.
The source code in version 2 versus 4, what were the material differences and how did you no. trying, Diana, I'm trying to.
I have what might be a quick question for you, Blue.
Sure, Linda.
I cannot get the Leap calendar to sync with my Google Calendar.
Oh, I actually have no idea how that works. That you're going to want to email leap@poweredbysage.com and ask Laura how that works.
Okay.
I know there's a button that says like add to calendar or something along those lines. Then you have to pick which calendar type you have. And essentially you wind up subscribing to a feed from us.
Yep. And I did that, and all my information and the Leap information showed up on a calendar, but it doesn't pull up on my phone. And I went back into my hub and it's no longer there either.
So
I can answer that part.
think
you have to add it to your phone separately.
Yeah.
I had that problem.
Yeah.
So you have to, on your phone, go to that spot and do it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm trying to remember where, again, if you ask Laura at leap@poweredbysage.com, she can also send you the link, or she can point you to where in the member hub it is, because you're right. It used to be on for a period of time. It was actually right on the main page, but I think it's now in one of the sub pages, and I just don't remember what that sub page is right now.
Okay. I'm also having issues when you guys send us an email to that you have like today's event coming up. When I click on the link, it says error, page not found. So I did message Laura.
Linda, what I'm gonna say, because I'm in Obvio mode, is anything technical from a Leap perspective, Laura can 100% help you with that, and I want to make sure that she does.
Okay.
So the other thing that I'll say is it looks to me like when you log into Leap, like into the Leap Members Hub, if you click on this little hamburger menu up here next to your logo, there's a calendar option.
Yep.
And I think if you click on this subscribe thing right here.
Yeah, that's when it was, I picked Google and it synced everything, but it's not showing up.
Right. So what Tom is saying is you have to log into the same thing from your phone and do the same thing on your phone, because for some reason, subscribed calendars on Google Calendar, they don't go from the phone app or from the web app to the phone app. I don't know why. And unfortunately, or fortunately, perhaps, given how what our speed is with Obvio, that's a Google question, not a Blue question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So hopefully that helps a little bit anyway. All right. Any other questions? Feels like it's a Thanksgiving kind of Wednesday. Diana, did you get your account set up?
So Blue,
think
how
so.
many politicians are using Obvio?
I don't know the number. I know we have
Okay.
some. And most of the politicians that are using it through a virtual studio. That actually isn't us. So it's through third parties. So some of the politicians who
Oh.
are using it don't actually realize they're using it, which is kind of funny.
That is funny. Thanks.
You were welcome. Okay, so Diana, now that you have done that, when you log in, or when you did log in, the system would have created an organization for you. So you do now have a Diana Inch organization. So, this is kind of like David. When you first log in, and you can change that if you want to change that to your company name. If you click the little down arrow next to Diana Inch's organization, you're going to see a settings option. I don't have that because I'm not logged in as you. I'm logged in as me, as an admin. And then you can actually just change the name of the organization. But that is kind of a cosmetic thing that really doesn't actually matter all that much. Okay. It only starts to matter if you are using Obvio to produce events for different companies, right? So Tom and Danella, or really Danella, when she produces events for somebody other than Tom, she uses a different organization. But in your case, it's not going to matter. So I'm going to go ahead and click new event right here. What's the event name? Do you want to put it in the chat and also give me the dates? 50,000 family members at the, oh wait, that's something else.
No, I think it's December 7th. It's a Friday. Oh, it's a Thursday. It's a Thursday. Sorry, December 7th at 5 p.m. And what do I call it? Successful family reunions for adoptees.
Okay. Where do you live? Are you at East Coast, West Coast, Mid Coast? Where are you?
I'm Pacific, thanks.
All right. So, and then the event itself is December 7th. So I'm going to set it to start a day before so you can do testing. And then we're going to have it end a day after for the same purpose. And let's just say you're going to have 100 people there.
Ooh.
Reunions. Okay. Do you know what template you want to use? So this is the classic template. This is kind of what the main dashboard page looks like.
Tony Robbins flashbacks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is the lefty template.
I'll go with the lefty because you like the lefty.
Okay, okay. All right. Sounds good.
You can demo the lefty.
All right. So
does
we're going to...
Does it have the agenda possibility with that one? Or
It does. It does, yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and select lefty. And my guess is you're going to try and get people into this as easy as possible, right?
Yes.
Is this a free event?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to leave password waiver and tech check turned off because it's just not necessary. Do you have a website that, people are going to sign up for this event at?
I was hoping to use, initially I was just going to use Zoom and have that invitation page thing. I do have a website, but
what's your website?
It's called arelativepeace.com.
This right here?
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I'm looking at this is I'm just trying to get a sense of just your design aesthetic and colors and whatnot.
I'm a purple and a turquoise kind of person, but
Yeah.
that I just threw that together as something.
Yeah, no worries. Do you happen to have a logo for this event?
We'll say no, not yet. We'll say not yet.
You have a font that you like?
If I said Comic Sans, would you hit me?
I don't care. I have zero judgment here.
No, no, I don't have a. Just the default is fine. Whatever's easiest is kind of.
Okay. So what is what are we calling this event? Say it again.
Successful family reunions for adoptees.
I don't really know what this does, so we're gonna just delete this. What is that?
Thank you for doing this.
So the thing,
I think
the
that was
thing
just
is,
the initials.
Yeah, no, I think so too. In order to do, in order to really have a in order to have a you know, in an ideal world, you really do have a logo of some sort. It doesn't really matter to me what it is, but in an ideal world, you really do have a logo of some kind, and it can be super simple, right? Like what I'm basically about to do, which is I hate Canva. I really probably should have done this somewhere else. Does anybody know how to just delete the backdrop? Or I should have done this in Photoshop.
Are you trying to delete the background in your photo?
Yeah.
Go to
How
edit
could I
photo.
give you
and then it'll bring you it'll give you a panel on the right and the top, one of the top options. Edit photo. So when you bring the photo in to Canva, are you still in Obvio?
No, I'm in Canva. I'm in Canva right now.
So edit photo is like go up above the photo, just to the right in that white margin below the blue part. But you have to have a photo in there for.
No, I'm working with a canvas though, right? It's already there. So how do I just get rid of the white background in the canvas or change the size of this?
You can change the background to a different color.
Great. How do I do that?
Click on you should be able to click on the image on your square, and then it should give you a choice to change the background. There you go.
And what I really just want is transparent.
So when you save it, when you download it, you can save it as a transparent background.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What a pain in the ass. I hate Canva. I don't know why everybody is like, oh, Canva is the most amazing thing. I literally hate Canva. It really drives me nuts.
I don't like it either.
Transparent background. Is there a way to resize the canvas? Does anybody know that? Right, because right now this is a square. Is there a way does anybody know how to just resize that?
I think you have to restart it from scratch, I believe.
Or there's a thing over on the left that says change your project size or something. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it, but there's a thing there that says change your project size and gives you options for an Instagram square or a Facebook story or whatever.
I mean, really?
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
this makes me feel really good about Obvio because this platform sucks and it's worth like $1 gazillion.
You see, if you watch
Yeah,
the tutorial video, it might be a lot simpler.
Yeah, probably, but it shouldn't be that freaking hard to begin with.
So in the right there.
It should be right here, right where it says there. I
Yeah.
should be able to like, but I can't.
Yep,
There's
it
nothing
should be.
there.
Well, darn.
Yeah. All right, whatever.
Well, do you
We're
want
gonna
to try
download.
to find me on Facebook and use the logo I have there?
I thought you said you didn't have a logo.
Well, it's not. I mean, I don't. But it's something that you could use for this.
No, it's okay.
I
I
mean,
got it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take.
I mean, I don't have anything
I'm just
specifically
gonna
for
take the thing
this.
that I download from Canva and I'm gonna put it in Photoshop and do what I need to do in it. Just give me a second. Sorry.
Okay.
Stupid.
Okay. I mean, my logo has been the heart, a purple heart emoji and a purple peace sign emoji with relative peace kind of in a box formation. That's what I've been using so far.
I gotcha. So
because
what I'm gonna,
relative peace is my business.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use a logo, and you should replace it at some point.
Perfect.
Right.
That's perfect. Yeah. That would be wonderful, Blue. Thank you.
Yep. No worries. Okay. So export as okay. So so back here. Oh, of course. Sorry, give me 1 second. So what I'll tell you guys as I'm doing this, you're going to see something. You are essentially seeing the biggest challenge with creating a website, especially on Obvio or creating a dashboard, actually has nothing to do with using Obvio. It has to do with making sure that you have the right assets before you get started, right? And currently we don't have the right assets because we're trying to kind of create something from scratch. So I have created this little kind of successful family reunions for adoptees logo, which generally speaking sucks, but whatever, it's fine. Like I said, you should change that at some point in the future. So first thing I'm doing when I go to the dashboard is I'm highlighting over this top, right under the preview button, there's a gear when you get close to it. And you click that and you're going to see the primary lefty sidebar. And what that's going to show you or what that's going to give you is a place to change the logo, change the backgrounds, because I created this with this sample demo data from Obvio. And you want to get rid of any Obvio branding and kind of have this be your own thing, right? So I'm taking the background that you had on your logo or on your website, and that's what I'm actually going to use as the background for the top of your site. So that's kind of where we're going to get started. Then I'm going to take my fake logo. And I'm going to decide that in this case, I'm actually going to use the black one because of the text. And I'm also going to change my position from where's my position as to where the logo goes? Centering. That's what I want. So something like that. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea if I changed the date on that, but is what it is. Then I'm going to say, welcome to your dashboard. And I'm going to change my color to black. I'm going to make it more of a gray so that it kind of matches And I probably want to make this a thinner logo, or thinner, so it's a little bit more in line with what I've got up top. What logo, or which, let's go back into Canva. And this is Cormorant. Wonder if we have that here. Nope. Okay. So that's just that's a custom logo that they've got. So, so what I've done so far is change the background of the top area, modified the welcome message to say welcome to your dashboard, put the logo up top. And so far what I still have is 3 buttons in place. And those buttons, you probably don't need 3. You're probably just going to need 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the help desk button, and I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to highlight the knowledge base button, and I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to grab the main stage button, and I'm going to call this one access the event. And then I'm going to put a little video icon in that particular button by searching for video and selecting the icon that I want. Then I'm going to go to styling, and I've pulled the color of the purple or bluish purple that you're using for buttons on your page, on your event page. And I'm going to use that same color so that we maintain like a little bit of brand consistency. And then I'm going to take my main stage button and increase the width of it, and also increase the border radius slightly. So now I've got this new button here that says access the event. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make some changes to the area down below here. So first off, the way Lefty works is you have a sidebar on the left and you have a blog section on the right. And by default, they both kind of inch up into the header area, visually speaking. But for you, I'm actually going to reduce that. So I'm going to go into Lefty right up at the top, go down to content overlap and pull it out of that area. So it's just down below right here. And then I'm going to make some changes to my sidebar to make it consistent from a brand perspective. I'm going to start by changing my my separator actually to be none. I'm going to change my background color to be that same blue that you use for the event. And then I'm also going to reduce the radius of the sidebar slightly to be 5 instead of 10. I'll tell you why I'm doing that in a second, but the short version is because I don't like my sidebar rounded edges to have the same style as my buttons. That's just me personally. So if I have buttons that are square, then I usually take my sidebar and put a rounded rectangle as the border for my sidebar. But you don't have to do that. That's just kind of what I do. So now from here, you may decide that you want emojis, but in all honesty, for you, probably not. So what you may want, though, is a couple of buttons that link out to other properties. So if you have a Facebook group, if you have a Facebook page, if you have an Instagram profile, things like that, you may want here. But I'm going to drag the sample event agenda all the way to the top. And to make changes to your event agenda, basically you click on the gear and you can rename it. So change this to event agenda rather than sample event agenda. We're excited to host you for this powerful 3-hour webinar or event or whatever. You don't have to put any text there, but you can make modifications to that. Then you can adjust this. So what's the time frame for your event?
I guess 5 to 8 now that it's 3 hours.
Well, it doesn't have to be 5 to 3 hours. Were you planning on having it be like a 2-hour webinar?
Yeah. Yes. 90 minutes, 2 hours.
And it's December 7th. Is that what it was?
Yes.
And you were going to start at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this event is in Pacific time. So all of the times will show up that way. And then I'm going to make it go until 8 p.m. You can change that to be just 7 p.m. There's no wrong answer there. Just make it whatever makes sense for you.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I'm going to delete this second or this other item here. So that's your sample event agenda. Next up, you may want to modify these buttons. Are you planning on having any downloadable resources, PDFs, or other things like that that they may want to access?
I would like to.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave this here for you. All you need to do is come in here and click the gear and modify the text, right? Because this text is still sample text, right? So this area you can place downloadable resources. So you're going to want to come in here and modify that description. And again, just by hovering over, anytime you see a gear, when you click on it, it's going to open up this side panel, which is where your where your ability to make changes to your dashboard lives. And any item that has a gear is something that you can make a change to. So next up, you have two options here currently, how to create attendees manually. These are just two samples, right? So you're going to want to remove these samples and click add resource and have it be like your workbook or something along those lines. And then click here, right? And then you can add a PDF and click open. And then you can change the icon to be like a little workbook like that, and then click save. So now
save. Okay.
Yeah. So now you've got your workbook as a downloadable item. You're going to want to come in here, go into the gear, remove the file, and replace it with whatever your workbook is going to be. Okay.
Okay.
So that's basically your sidebar. Next up, you've got your blog post. And I would say to you that you want to have some sort of welcome message here. So I'm going to delete the video that's embedded in this, and I'm also going to delete. I'm going to leave the rest of this as it is.
Okay.
But I would say welcome to the event, and then have a welcome post or welcome message from you in that area right there.
Okay.
So now when I go ahead and I click on preview, this is starting to look really much more like you than it looks like us, right? So you've got welcome to the event. You've got a couple of pages here, or a couple of buttons here, which you're probably going to want to modify to be more, again, like you. And you have a button to access the event. Now, before I move on, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go to speakers, and we're going to go to relative peace. And I feel like I saw a photo of you here. So I'm going to download this. Do you happen to have a bio somewhere?
Somewhere on there. It seemed like I started something very little. Is there something up in the top, Blue, of like about? And I've been very shy. I just changed my Facebook name to be my name today. Right. I've been hiding. So,
yeah, I don't see.
You can just say reunited adoptee for now, and I'll add it later.
Okay. All right. So what I'll do here is on the speaker page, we're going to remove Grant, because clearly Grant is not a speaker at your event. And then we're going to remove me because, again, for the same reason.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to add a speaker. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to add I'm going to make you a featured speaker because you're going to probably be the only one. We're going to add your image. You don't have to do this. If you want, you can just remove this in the future. That's your call. But I'm going to go ahead and just add some sample copy in here.
Lorem ipsum is a favorite.
Yeah. Okay. So, of course, it's not actually loading for me properly today. All right, copy. There we go. Okay. Sample speakers page. So we're gonna say meet. No, you know what? I'm gonna remove this and I'm gonna remove that. And we're just gonna have our host. Our host. That's what we're gonna call that rather than speakers because it's just you.
Sure.
Click save. And we also want to remove that logo and upload the other one, which is work. Menu bar height, no. Actually, you know what? We're just going to remove that logo. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and click save. And my menu bar background, I'm going to make this the same blue just from a consistency perspective. And save. Okay. So now we've got, if somebody clicks on our speakers page, or I'm actually going to remove these items here. We're going to go into the speakers page and have this be consistent. Meet our host, and color wise, I'm just going to use black actually as the button color, just again for brand consistency. Yeah, I know, baby. All right. And I'm going to make this a little bit more rounded so it matches the top. Okay. So that's really your dashboard. The other thing that you're going to want to do is create a Zoom area for the event, which will have one room in it. And then you're going to want to take this button and point it to that main stage area. So at its core, your event is kind of done. We do have to modify we don't have to, but we should modify the login page. What I would normally do is I would have this also have similar branding to the dashboard itself. So I'd reuse that same background or that same image.
If I want to have breakout rooms, is that something I do separately, or can I do that in the Zoom area?
That's something that you do in Zoom once you actually get started. Yeah. So there's nothing that we need to do here in order that will that'll make that easier or happen. Like it's all pretty much the same.
Okay.
Okay. Then I would say welcome to the event. Actually, you know what? Yeah, whatever. Here we go. And then I'm going to take that same blue that we've been using and put it here. And then also make this login button the same thing. And there we go. So now we've got a login page. Okay, so the other thing that you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to have people, if you're just going to be sending them to the Obvio page to sign up, you're going to want to turn on this sign up feature, especially because it's a free event. So it's easy to do. So what you'll wind up doing is you'll go to the event and you'll grab this reunions.obv.io. That's the URL for your event. And if you go to it, you're going to see the page that we just created. But instead of going to that page, I want you to send them to
come.
I want you to send them to sign_up, and that will have them actually go to this page right here, which is a sign up page. So then you have them type in first name, last name, email address, and they click access the event, and that will log them in automatically to the dashboard. Okay. And now when you go back to your event, if we go to attendees, you'll notice that I'm set up as an attendee because I've signed up. So now I can click meet our host. I see you with my sample copy. I can go back to the dashboard. I see my logo with the wrong date. Welcome to the dashboard, and so on and so forth. So the structure of your event is basically there. You just have a few things that you have to tweak. And the thing that's really, really important to remember is you don't want to send them to the login page. You really want to send them to sign_up. So much so that I'm actually going to do something that we do for our own events when we're doing a large free event, like the one that you're talking about doing, is I'm going to pull a redirect script from and add it to this is kind of like, and let's just call this an advanced feature. But what winds up happening is anybody with what I'm going to do, we're going to redirect anybody who shows up to your event. We're going to redirect them. If they show up on the login page, we're going to redirect them to the sign up page. So we're going to go to scripts. We're going to click add. I'm going to say login to sign up redirect. I'm going to paste this in. And I'm going to, all right. And then we're going to add this only to specific pages, which is the login page. So now what'll wind up happening is if somebody goes to the login page, they're going to get redirected automatically to the sign up page like I just did. Okay, so you don't have to remember to even send them to the sign up page. Then they type in first name, last name, and email address, and they wind up on the dashboard. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. I don't know how much of that you actually absorbed because I went super fast.
It was great, Brew. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And that now lives inside of your event, inside of your organization. So you can make tweaks and changes to it as you see fit. And you should definitely change the logo. That logo sucks.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. And I learned a lot, and it'll be so much easier for me to go and make those changes
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I think
you're
the thing
amazing.
to remember, like I went through that super fast. And I also, not having seen any assets before we even started, I think the thing that's really cool about this platform is once you get comfortable with it, how easy it is to create a dashboard that looks like you super fast, right? Like it's like technically you go change your logo and add the welcome note and you're done. You can start sending people to that link tomorrow, right? Now you're going to want to show up next week and ask us how to start Zoom, right? Because we didn't cover that stuff. It's all in there. But I mean, if you're going to use this on December 7th for the first time, you're definitely going to want to show up to the next call and ask us how to get into Zoom, not as an attendee, because that's easy. You as the host, how do you get into into it? And we are streaming this to YouTube. Thank you for that reminder, Heather. If you want to go back and watch what I did, you can actually go back and watch what I did on our YouTube channel.
Right. I plan to do that. This is on YouTube right now.
It is. Yep. Yeah, but don't worry, nobody's watching it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That I mean, I know how to use Zoom, but I haven't done it through Obvio. So
yeah, using Zoom through Obvio is no different. The only thing that's a little different is getting into Zoom, launching Zoom. And I want to make sure that you have that right. I don't want that the first time you try and launch it. And it's easy. It's not complicated. It's just you have to know where to go. And with you having never logged into the platform before today, right? I want to make sure that you know how to do that. And you can, of course, go through the there's videos on how to do it on the Jumpstart guide, like that onboarding workshop that we did for Obvio this summer. There is videos on how to do it. Wow, she's gone from whining to just barking at me. So so there you go. Hope that helps.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
then
you.
just play. You can't mess anything up. Just play with it. All right, David, you get the last question of the day, my friend. What's up? You're muted.
Yeah. A couple of other quick technical questions. One is with assets, both logo and also, the Zoom screen opening shots, like for the individual videos and whatnot. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the right. Do you create those typically in Photoshop? Does it need to be a vector diagram? Do you need Illustrator?
That's a personal preference question, right? Some people who know how to use Canva would use Canva. I hate Canva personally, so I would not use Canva. Some people would use Photoshop. Some people, create graphics in Keynote and then export them as image files. There's no wrong answer.
Okay. So are there specific parameters for the Zoom opening screen tile or title?
For the dashboard stuff, there really isn't. What I would say is start with like anything that is kind of like a background image for a dashboard or something along those lines. Start with a 1920 by 1080 image. And that's going to be a good baseline. But the reality is the platform is super flexible and allows you to really upload images of any size and resize it. So there's no real perfect background size, especially because everybody's computer size is different, right? So everybody's looking at you. You're looking at your dashboard on your computer, but everybody else who looks at it is not. They're looking at it on their computer, and their computer is different than yours in many cases. So that's a good starting point for graphics. Great.
And then the last question is about lighting. If you recall, you back a couple months back in Leap, you had a specific module on camera and lighting, and you had this one particular lighting setup was like $200.
Yeah, it was by a company called Godox, Godox, and they're available on Amazon. I think it's GODOX. GODOX. Yeah. And we tested their softbox lights, and we also tested their LED packages, and they had a square LED package that came with 2 lights that was like $180 or something like that at the time. And Godox is it's a decent brand, but they're definitely lower end lights, but they work perfectly fine. In fact, of the lights that we tested, I still have one of them that I keep at home, because when I travel, it's small enough that I throw it in my bag. And if I need to do something on the road, I have a little LED light that I take with me. So, we still use it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Thanks for all of it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, David. All right, guys. Well, listen, because are there any other questions, Heather? No. Okay. Because you guys don't have any other questions and my dog is barking at me, I'm going to go ahead and cut this call short. I'm going to say happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States. If you're not in the United States, happy Thursday. And we'll see you all next week. Next week is a morning call, unless you hear otherwise, 8 a.m. on Wednesday. So Diana, I'm sorry, you're going to have to get up mighty early to come join us, but come join us so that we can help get you all squared away and you're all set and ready for your December 7th event. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.